Hi guys, it's Saturday and it's Lou Matson Intuitive channel, way shower and conduit for healing. Today has been one of those days where you follow the guidance of your heart and things happen that make absolutely no sense to your head whatsoever. And that's really what really strongly came through for me today. You know, when we follow our heart, when we follow our intuition, when we follow our inner guidance, and we do it in complete trust and faith that it's, you know, whatever is going to come from it is meant to be, it doesn't have to make sense. You know, it doesn't have to make sense to our ego. Our ego wants to understand, our ego wants to know, our ego wants to have all the details laid out in front of it before it makes a decision or before it commits to anything. The heart just feels. It just feels that it's right. This is the right thing to do. And I will explain what happened. So there is an event called Peace in the Park in Sheffield. And somebody had mentioned it, and I thought, yeah, you know, I feel really drawn to going. And every time anybody spoke about it, I heard Endcliffe Park. Now, whether they said Endcliffe Park or whether they said the park that it actually turned out to be at, I have no idea. It doesn't really matter. But what my field received was Endcliffe Park. And so I happily prepared and came down to Endcliffe Park today. And I had arranged to meet a friend. And I was sat in the cafe. And then right at the time when we were supposed to meet, it transpired that she was in a completely different park to me. She was at the Peace in the Park event and I wasn't. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. Why am I here? Why am I in Endcliffe Park when the event is in a completely different park? Now, my ego could have immediately kicked in and gone, oh, you idiot, you know, you heard the wrong thing, or, you know, there was so many opportunities where people could have corrected me. Why didn't somebody say? I've wasted my time, da-da-da-da-da-da. But I didn't. I thought, well, that's really interesting. Okay, so what is it my heart wanted me to experience in this park at this moment? And there was a number of different things that I feel very blessed to have experienced. There's a duck pond in this park, and as I walked past the duck pond to the cafe, I saw a stork. Absolutely beautiful, magnificent bird. It was the energy of the stork. It was so graceful. I was mesmerized. So I stood and I watched and I took some photographs and I connected with the stork. That wouldn't have happened had I been at the correct park. There was nobody else around the pond. It was just me, some ducks and the stork. And I felt truly blessed to have experienced the energy of this being, this beautiful spirit animal that had shared space with me. And then as I walked along the path to go to the cafe, these two ducks, the female leading a male, walked straight past me. And it was, you know, so close. And so I said, you know, good morning to them as they passed. And she actually replied to me. You know, she started quacking back at me. And I was just like, wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. What a beautiful experience. And then when I got to the cafe, it was lunchtime. And I thought, actually, do you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to treat myself. And whilst I wait for my friend, because at that time I didn't realise I was in the wrong park, I'm going to have lunch. I'm going to have lunch in the park. And I ordered a vegan chili, and it was the perfect chili. I love chili, absolutely love chili. And the perfect chili for me is where it just starts making your nose water a bit, but it doesn't completely overpower you. And not only that, but I got to meet face to face the guy, I think his name is Tony Robbins, who, as a child of 8 years old, around about 8, during the Second World War, his and a few other children who were playing on the park, his life was saved by the airmen and the pilots of a B-52 bomber who were trying to land. They were, the plane was, I was going to say injured. I suppose it was. The plane was injured. And, they were looking for somewhere to land. We're going to land in Endcliffe Park, and at the last minute saw the kids playing and pulled up and actually crashed into the trees. And they were all killed. And they sacrificed their lives to save the lives of these children playing in the field. And this affected Tony so much that ever since he has created and laid memorial to these pilots in the park. And there was a big event earlier on in the summer, because I think must have been something like the 50th anniversary, and the families of the airmen and things like that came over, and it was a really big event. But I was on the next table to him, and it was such an amazing experience to be in his energy and the sheer love that he exuded, and respect and honor that he gave these men, these young men who gave their lives to save the lives of these children in the park. And so as I was walking back from the park and thinking, it actually doesn't feel right to go to the Peace in the Park event. It felt perfectly right to do this. I have no reason, I have no real understanding of why, but just having experienced those different experiences was just really heartwarming, heart-opening, beautiful, beautiful experiences. And that's good enough. Sometimes we follow our heart's guidance and the experiences are not so pleasant, and we think, why on earth would I'm not going to follow my intuition again. Why on earth would I follow that if I'm going to experience this? However, each time that I have had those moments, there has been a reason, a beautiful lesson, a gift, a blessing. And it's all been part of my perfect journey. But I've only kind of come to realize that many, many, many years down the line when I've reflected and looked back. And so in those moments when you're guided, even when it makes no sense to your ego, it doesn't have to. Be okay with the fact that it felt right to do it, and allow yourself to fully experience what is going on in that moment, because there is something, and you may not ever know what it is, but it is a piece of the puzzle of your path of love and light. So that's really just wanted to come through and be shared with you today. So I hope you have a joy-filled, magical day, and just allow yourself to be guided by your heart without having to know the reason why. Sometimes we never do. That's not the point. Sometimes it's just about being in a certain place, or experiencing whatever it is that you're experiencing in that moment. But just trust and have the faith that this is perfect. Everything is perfect and in perfect timing. And that whatever it is, whether it feels good or bad, and I know that they are, 3D comparison judgments, but, that's the way the ego works. Whatever it feels like to your ego, it doesn't matter. It's all perfect. It's all a perfect part of your journey. So embrace it. Love it for what it is. Experience it. Yeah, and that's it. Have a great rest of your day. Love you lots. Take care. Bye.